So the playlist is the gentle playlist number 2. And the first song is Move, which we will not be doing. So let's start at a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can press your buttons. And if you do have a tie, it'll help. It's not necessary, but it's always nice to do some of this work with less work to do. And I'm actually going to show you a few different ways that you can use your tie. If you have a nice long tie, so like an 8-foot tie, I think, or 6 foot at least, place the tie, or put a little loop in it for your foot. Now, if you're just using an old tie or the belt of a bathrobe, that's fine. I'll show you what you can do with that one as well. But if you do have this, you may as well take advantage of it. And once you've got your loop in, we'll come to the ground and we will lie on our backs. Now let's start off in constructive rest. So you'll drop your back to the mat. You'll have your feet about hip width apart, or wide enough that as the knees knock together, they feel like they're dropping. And as the knees drop down, feel that also, that sensation of dropping down to the hips. And heck, since we've got that sensation now that we can feel it, see if you can also bring that sensation into your shoulders. Start to feel the breath moving in and out. Soften through the facial features. With your arms nice and spread apart, see if you can feel that your breath can also get as wide as your arms, as if your lungs have grown out to the size of your hands. As you take a nice big inhale, feel the lungs kind of widening out. As you exhale, just release and feel the flutter of these long extended lungs. A few more breaths. Just releasing, relaxing. Noticing the pattern of your breath that's already there. You don't have to create one. Let's start to add a little movement through our legs, and as we exhale, we'll drop both legs over towards the left, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back up, and over to the second side. So let's say you're having an issue with your knee. Your knee maybe starts with a D. As you go over, be mindful of the strain. So just stop a little bit before the strain, and instead of dropping the knees more, feel a stretch through the hips a little bit more. So just taking the perception of the pose to a different spot. Let's see how that works for you. Be mindful of the pause and the breath, so let the pause and your pose end at the same time. Or both the beginning of the inhale and the beginning of the exhale, or again, the end of the inhale, the end of the exhale. Okay, and then we're going to bring our legs back up, and as the tailbone draws forward and the low back flattens, let's take that right leg and draw it into the chest. Just letting some people in here. Feel you can hold on to the back of the knee to begin. You can hold on to the top of the shin. So the back of the knee is going to take less pressure. And the top of the knee is adding a little bit more. And here, as you draw the leg in, as you exhale, just feel the leg kind of drop a little bit more or release a little bit more in towards the belly. And as you inhale, feel the belly rising up onto the thigh a little bit. And then keep going. If it feels okay, you can start to straighten that left leg. And if you are straightening it, keep it relatively active, so don't just let it hang there. Imagine you're pressing into a wall. You can even press into a wall for a little bit more activity. And hug both hips back to the midline. Here we're going to start to move the knee a little bit from side to side. And focusing here, noticing where your mind kind of rested into. Is it at the hands? Is it at the hip joint? Is it a little above the body, kind of noticing what the body looks like as it moves here from place to place? So many different places we can rest our mindset, or our awareness, I guess. And you can choose all of them. You can choose one of them. Excellent. All right, we're going to bring our leg back through center. And before we use the tie, we're just going to stretch that leg straight. And we'll press the heel up towards the ceiling, toes towards the nose. Big stretch to the back side of the leg. Here, even maybe creating a little bit more of that stretch through the back of the knee, the one I always say don't do. And then point. And again. Now as you point, flexing the heel, just spread your toes a little bit, see if that changes the pose at all. And then keep the toes flexed as you reach the foot up towards the ceiling. So kind of like a floyd, or what I like to consider a Barbie foot. Beautiful. Let's just do a couple of circles around the ankle, warm up the ankle joint a little bit. Try to do 10 in one direction. You can even add the toes in here, let them flow around a little bit. And then after 10, do the opposite direction. Again, those toes can get involved a little bit. Beautiful. All right. Now that'll do it. So we're going to grab our ties now. If you have a tie that doesn't loop, just wrap the tie around the foot, like so. And that's fine, that's a great thing. If you do have a tie that has a loop, place the foot in the loop. Also great. In either one of the positions, see if you can drop the hands down so that they can rest a little bit. So elbows down, shoulders not working. Bring your mind's eye back to your hips and hug them towards each other, pressing out through your left foot. Wrapping the tie around, or either both straps or one strap around the left hand, take your right hand and just start to play with drawing that right thigh a little bit more forward, feeling the stretch or the sensation through the glute med, glute max, or whatever other muscles are in there, lots, but just feel this out. One more breath. That adds quite a bit of dimension to the pose, yeah? All right, so next, if you have a tie that wraps around, or that doesn't wrap around the foot, you're gonna take both strap sides and wrap it around the outside of the right leg, and then holding on to the strap with the right hand, both sides, you'll take that leg out to the side. So the reason why it's nice to have a strap, it's kind of just a bit more relaxing way of doing this pose. Wrap the tie around your right shoulder, hold on to the tie with your left hand. And then as you pull on the left side, you can stretch that leg down. Again here, making it a little bit so that you're not just, the leg shouldn't feel as if it's dropping, it should be pulling. You can always take the right hand now, which is relaxed, and just hold the leg in position. So it's or kind of swimming around the edge, but still comfortable enough that you're feeling a good stretch that's super easy to relate to. And here, you can imagine yourself standing. So if you were standing here through that left foot, you're rooting down. The right outer hip is dropping down towards the left inner heel. So again, it's as if you've heard me say, like you're growing another leg out of the right hip joint. And stay a few breaths here, noticing how much easier it is doing this pose when you're lying down, but noticing also what you can learn from this pose lying down that'll make it a little bit more, a little easier when you're standing. So this will inform you of how to reach out through that leg. You notice it's lighter, it can lift up a little higher. How much more weight you can press down through the left leg, which will also lift that right leg up. Let's take one more breath here. And then thinking about moving from the inner right thigh and then also using the hands to lift that right leg up. And you can kind of release a little bit if you still have the tie in your left hand. If you have the tie around too, wrap it around the inside of the leg now. Hold on with the left hand and start to slide that leg down. But if it's long, you can just start to drop it down to the left. And here you'll feel again in that area around the back of the leg, but you can also notice the hitching up of that right hip and see if you can release it down. And you can use your hands here, which is tremendous amount of sensation, which I feel more in my calf muscles than I do in my hip. Keep pressing out, keep that right leg active. Breathe. Can you notice here if, because there is so much sensation in the lower half of the body, if the upper half of the body that does not have to work is trying to get involved? So release the shoulders, make them comfortable, soften through the jaw, soften through the face. Nice, long, luxurious holds on a cold, snowy Thursday. Okay, we'll bring that leg back up. And again, you can lift the leg up as you roll back through center. And we'll start to walk our hands. So either you're walking, all of you can follow. If you don't have a tie, you can just hold on to the back of the leg and walk up the back of the leg. Keep pressing down through the left leg. And as you press down, reach the right leg away. Notice how badly here the head wants to get involved. And again, that's just hard work for the neck. No need for the neck to be involved. Heart reaching towards toes. For those that are really want to get into the hamstring, keep holding on. See if you can lower your shoulders back down. Big stretch. Your head back down. Take 2 deep breaths here. You can even exhale through the mouth, letting go of some of that tension. One more. And then one more inhale. And as we exhale, you can bend that right knee. You can release the tie. And here, just rocking the knee a little bit, again, a little bit from side to side. And you may notice there's quite a difference in how the leg moves now than how it moved before. You may also notice there's a lot less sensation there. All good things. All good things to those who wait it out in long holds. Beautiful. All right, so let's take that right foot down. And you know I want to see how different it feels from the left one. And you know, a 4-inch difference, or what seems like a 4-inch difference, it's probably nothing. Yeah, it's absolutely nothing, but the sensation never ceases to surprise and delight me. And I hope the same for you. So let's bring both legs back through center. Just take a moment, settle. You can start to move the legs a little bit from side to side again. See if I can keep the same length of time. So one of the problems with having 2 legs is usually the second side gets a little less than the first side. So I'm going to do my best to keep it around the same. And notice that as well in your own practice. You know, the first time we take time, we're there to experience, and the second side we're just kind of usually there to get through. So let's take this time to experience. And we'll start first by lifting that left knee into the chest, holding on either to the top of the shin or the back of the thigh, depending on how it feels. And you can just start to wiggle that knee nice and slowly from side to side, from underarm to underarm. You can decide if it feels okay to start to slide that left leg straight, or sorry, that right leg straight. As that left leg continues to move from side to side. Underarm to underarm. And here, as that leg does straighten, we can imagine that right leg pressing into an imaginary wall so it stays active. And as the knee moves from side to side, the hips are drawing towards each other, hugging in. And again, we notice the perceptions, right? Where are you feeling this? Are we perceiving it through where our hands are located on our leg? Just feeling the leg in space moving from side to side. Are we feeling that sensation through the hip joint? Are we perceiving or being aware of the whole body moving as we watch it, as our awareness kind of watches us lying here on the ground? All right, that should do it. So we're going to take our hands now and slide them behind the thigh and start to stretch that leg up. And as we push the leg into the hands, we're going to draw the hands back so there's a little traction. You can feel here the biceps rolling down towards the floor, right to right, left to left. And just for a moment, we can start to stretch the back of the knee a little straighter. So just to notice what that feels like. It's a lot of pressure just for a moment, just to get a nice big stretch to the back of the leg, and then you can soften that. And we'll draw the heel towards the ceiling, toes towards the nose. And then we'll point the foot up towards the ceiling. We'll do that one more time. And this time, as we draw the heel up towards the ceiling, you can spread your toes and notice what that feels like, a little different. Again, be mindful of if the left hip is hanging out to the left and hug it back to the midline. And you can, in this pose where your toes are nice and spread, you can start to reach the toes into a flointed position, a flexed point, or a Barbie foot. And from this, you can start to move a little bit back and forth, noticing the foot in this, this flointed. So it kind of, for me, feels as if it's increasing the awareness of sensation through the front and leg foot. And you can even do it as you move into the circles. And then switch direction. So it's around 10. Just to get a little bit more of that oiling through the joints. Then slow down the circles. They don't have to be fast. We're trying to make them pretty round. Well, that should do it. All right, so we're going to take that tie now again. Whatever version you did on the first side, do on the second. And since I do have this, it's kind of fun to wrap myself around so I don't have to work hard. I don't have to really hold on to the leg at all as it slides past. And as the leg goes out to the left, again, just notice what's going on in that hip, and as you press down through the right foot, feel the left hip dropping down towards the inner ankle. And just be here. So I do rest my leg or my hand on the block, on the tie, excuse me. So that I'm just playing with my edge. I'm not so deep into this pose that it's just killing me. It's at a place where I can feel that I've got that sensation, that big stretch sensation, but it's not so much that I feel like, one, the breath is compromised, or there's any thoughts in my head of inner thigh ripping off. And I know it sounds really ridiculous, but think of how many times we move into places where we go, oh my God, this feels like, you know, super crazy sensation, or my thigh is ripping apart. So I don't want that. I want comfort so that we can continue to explore deeper and deeper without the body or the mind halting back. Stay, a couple of breaths here, a couple more breaths at least. Wherever you have chosen, again, be mindful also of what's going on in the upper body. Can you relax here? Does it compromise the breath? Is your face included? And if your face is included, soften it and smile. All right, we'll do 2 more deep breaths. So on your next inhale, use either hand to help at the inner thigh, so engage the inner thigh, and start to lift up with the hand, but see that the thigh can help lift you. And then we're just gonna take that tie. So if you have the tie wrapped around the outside of the leg now, wrap it on the inside of the leg. So like so. And just start to bring it over towards the right. Big stretch here. Through that whole outside the leg here with your free left hand if you want. Notice if the left hip is hiking, and it does. So just unhike it. Kind of drawing the outer hip down towards that right foot and draw that leg over towards the right. Breathe. Stay with the body here so much that if you notice something, like I just noticed as I was moving, if I continued in moving in a specific way, it was going to start to tweak my knee. So I want to untweak that. That's the nice thing about staying nice and slow and mindful, is that you can stop yourself from moving into a place that might be uncomfortable or unsafe. Let's do 2 more breaths here. And then again, engaging that leg, we'll just draw it back up. Pressing down again through that right leg, we'll start to crawl ourselves up the thigh, reaching the heart towards the foot. Trying to keep the head out of it, trying to not let the head come forward. Press down through the low back, feel the heart lift up a little bit more. Soften through the neck and the jaw. And you can keep going if you want. You can hold on here. Or you can start to lower your head back down towards the floor, which will just increase the hamstring stretch. So if it's too much, stay lifted. We'll take about 3 breaths here, hugging the outer hips towards each other, being in this stretch a little bit deeper than it was a moment ago. On your next exhale, we'll draw the knee back to the chest. Notice how much that knee comes in now. So cool. Just a little extra time spent in an area, and how much the difference is in the body. You can release the tie. And then we'll release the leg to the floor. Once again, you can slide both. So just to now feel both legs. And we'll start to slide the legs back up. They should feel so soft and loose that kind of moving now becomes a little bit of a challenge. And here again, just start to rock a little bit from side to side. All right, let's roll ourselves all the way over to the side that you can see me. So we're kind of in that collapsed chair position. Do a little shoulder work from here. If your head doesn't like hanging, you can place your head on the blanket. So that way we're trying to create a position that we are in alignment through our spine. And here the legs, the front shins are, even though they're probably off your mat, parallel to the long edge of the mat. And your heels and your knees are lined up. Your thighs are parallel to the top of the mat. So let's just start here by taking the top arm and we're going to slide it over the head. Okay, can you get your palm back down to the floor? Is it hanging? If it's hanging, you can bend your elbow a little bit. Then we're going to slide, keeping that hand on the floor. See if you can slide your hand all the way into a T position so that your left shoulder is coming towards, or the top shoulder is coming down. Inhale, we're going to roll that all the way back up and over. Hands together. Do that 4 more times. Inhale all the way up and around. Hand slides down, maybe even back of hand slides down. So if you are on a pillow, your left shoulder will, or sorry, your top shoulder will not come to the floor, which is why we're not staying. It's just a nice little opening through the shoulders. Feel here as we move from side to side that you're opening up the front of the chest as well as opening up the back. So as the arm comes up and over, feel the collar, the top collarbone spread wide. Beautiful. And then as we come back, take a moment. And again, since we're on this pillow, we're not going to try to just move from side to side. In that position, we'll just lift up. Come all the way over. And I'll show you from the back now what it looks like. So again, take a moment to set up your legs. And then we'll take that top arm, reach it up. And just slide it up and around, bringing that hand into a T. And then sliding all the way back. Top arm stays on the floor as we roll all the way up and over. Again, opening with an inhale, pause, closing with an exhale. Three. 4. And our last one. Beautiful. We're going to release the pillow or whatever from underneath your head. We're going to come back up through center and draw the knees into the chest. Stretch the legs away. Let's move into the core a little bit now and in, squeeze in. And exhale, squeeze in. Okay, hold on to the backs of the legs here. We're going to start to do a little rolling. To amp up and just see if you can feel yourself rolling so that your spine is moving not in clumps, but nice round. And then we'll come up and we'll come onto our hands and knees. Okay, so just to let you know, with hands and knees is not working for you, you can do the same pose upside down, okay? And if your knees are bothering you, but only a little bit, you can also use a blanket for the knees. So, we'll start with a little cat and cow here, which if you are on your backs, you can just continue doing a little bit of rolling. Let the head go. I'm just going to keep going as I take off my sweater here. Yes, preparing for what's to come. And a little ponytail too. Keep your cat and cows moving, nice and easy. Slow down the action of your cat and cow so your breath is a little slower too. Beautiful. And then we're going to come back into tabletop position. All right, so taking a moment to look at your hands, making sure that the fingers are spread apart equally. So that means that the pinky finger and the thumb are not out far. They are lined up as far as any other finger. And then let's just do a little wrist. So stretch the body forward, stretching the wrists, and then you can stretch back. And then forward and back. And then feel your hands really pressing down. You're a little back behind a right angle and melt the heart down. As the sides of the ribs lift up, we're going to take our right leg and we're going to reach it back behind you. Now take a look at it. See that the pinky toe of that foot is looking down towards the floor. Inner thigh is lifting up, and if your hips just drop down, pull those hips back up. Make this core work hard for you. Lengthen from the heel out to the crown of the head. And you can stay just using the leg, or if you want to amp it up even more, instead of the head reaching away from the heel, we're going to take that opposite arm and reach it away. Hard melt, upper outer right arm drawing back towards the mat, back of the mat. And we're going to start to move. Elbow and knee coming in, squeeze, inhale, stretch up and away. Exhale, and inhale. Keep going. 3, 4, and 5. All right, 5. See, why do you do that? To trick yourself, core, into thinking it's over, just to watch how your mind goes, no. 2. And this time as we come in, let's hold here, squeeze. Elbow and knee touch each other and they squeeze, lengthening the head and the left heel away from each other. Beautiful. We'll stretch up and out. And then we'll take the hand down and take the leg down and just take a moment to move yourself around. You're going to take the wrist now out to the side and just start to move a little bit, which should feel nice in the right side. And you can roll yourself around the wrist, so do what makes sense to you. And then we'll turn the hand back forward. Okay, we have another leg to do. So pressing down through the floor, heart melts. We'll take the left leg up. Baby toe faces the floor, inner thigh lifts up, side body lengthens up towards the sky. You can do just the leg, or you can add the right arm too, or the opposite arm. As we exhale, we hug in. And we notice if we wobble, we also notice if that left shoulder is hugging up towards the ear. And if it is, stop that. 3. See if you can touch it. 4. And 5. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Hold here, squeeze. Extra 2 breaths. 1 last breath. As you inhale, stretch. And as you exhale, hand comes down, leg comes down. And just start to sway a little bit from side to side. Take it easy, let the shoulders move in any way that feels good. All right, and then just kind of walk your knees a little wider and we'll just come and sit back, coming into a little child's pose. Walk your hands forward, let the head hang. Press the fingers into the floor, maybe lifting the palms up so the arms stay active. And feel your belly here rising and falling with the breath on your thighs, inner thighs. Notice how that feels in your back. It should feel nice. And start to walk our hands over towards the left. And then maybe even hold on to your left hand. Press the right hip down onto that right heel. Right sit bone onto the heel. And as you take a nice big inhale, feel the length of your side, waist side, ribs and arm. Right side. Come back through center. And we'll move to the second side. Beautiful. All right, let's come back through center. We're going to do another set a little different. So this time we're going to walk over a little bit off the mat with our hands. Asymmetrical bird dog. All right, so we're going to take the right leg and the left arm and reach them away. Exhale, hug in, squeeze. Woo! Interesting, huh? Inhale, reach up and away. So, what I love about this is, you think you got it, and then you move just a little bit, and it's like, oh, maybe I don't have it. And up, and reach. Keep going. 3. And 4. We're building all sorts of new muscles, and 5. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Excellent. Hold here for an extra breath. And then place the hand down, place the leg down, and move around a little bit. We've got one more side to do, so we're going to take that left leg up now, right arm, and squeeze in. And you can count on your own now. One more set. And here we'll hold for an extra breath, squeeze. Let the head relax. Release the hand back down. And move yourself around. So we do have one last side. Walk yourself over to that side. We'll take the left arm, right leg, stretch away, and hug in. 2. 3. 4. 1 more set. So just notice, upper body, are you still relaxed? Are Are you grinding your teeth? Are your shoulders up at the ears? Hug in here, hold. And release. Give yourself a nice little stretch around again. And last one, a little bit more challenging. 1, 2, 3. Our final set, aren't you excited? And here we'll take it and we'll hold, squeeze, and then release. Walk yourself back to center. Give yourself a nice little move around and we'll slide ourselves all the way up and into a really nice downward facing dog just to stretch the whole back side of the body. Press the hands down and forward, let the back of the neck be long. Oh, stretches feel good sometimes, don't they? You can pedal out your heels here. Look forward, we'll start to walk to the front of our mats. And as we fold into this fold, let the belly rest on the thighs, let the head hang heavy. Maybe you hold on to the backs of the legs, give yourself a hug for all that work you just did. Just gonna move the blanket off to the side so that I don't step it up through standing poses, and we'll make our way all the way up. Stretch the arms up over the head, and we'll slide our hands to our heart. And as we come to the front of our mats, body in the mountain pose, hands in reverence to ourselves. Lift that heart up a little bit more. And as we exhale, release the hands, just take a moment to feel your humanness. Feel yourself connect to the floor. Feel the blood coursing through you. Let's do a sun salutation in 2. Let's look up, palms together. As we exhale, let's fold down. You can flat back down, you can roll down, whatever makes sense to you. Slide the hands up to the shins as you lengthen into your flat back. Hands to the floor, let's step our left leg back. Drop the back knee to the floor. Inhale, sweep yourself up into a lunge. As we exhale, let's open up. We're going to spin that left foot to the right. And we'll come into this kind of, what is this? Warrior 2 position. Pull the legs towards each other. Feel that inner thigh, or the back of the thigh, get nice and strong here. And you can stay here, you can start to stretch a little deeper into it, and then come back up. So here again, if you need something for your knee, you can use a pillow. You can use a blanket, your knee jellies. And then inhale, let's come up and we'll straighten that front leg. We're going to take our right hand down as we take the left arm up. And from that left knee, lengthen all the way up to the fingertips. And I want you to feel as we lengthen here that the length is coming from the waist, not from the shoulder. Actually create a hollowness through your underarm by spinning the pinky finger a little bit more towards the midline or towards your head. And start to reach. Now this right hand can stay here. I just don't want you to push it on the knee. You can rest it on the thigh, but if you notice, or on the calf, but if you notice you're pushing deeply into it, keep it here. Pull the legs towards each other. Can you reach the heart up towards that hand? Excellent. We're going to inhale, come back up. And as you reach out through that right arm, start to lower the left arm to the floor. Keep reaching out. That your hand will find the mat. And here we are in a little Vastasana. We're going to plant that left hand down. From that planted hand, reach up through the top arm. And you can start to reach that top arm over your head. Take 2 more breaths here, feeling all this length through the body. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, as you reach the right arm forward, you can lift the right leg up, and you can come into this half moon. Let's do 2 more breaths in whatever position you've decided to use here. If you are in this half moon, as you take your next exhale, release the foot back down, reach the right arm over the head, and then everybody crawl yourself forward. And you're in this cat and cow position with your right foot straight. So notice the difference as you roll through your cat and cow in this position, what it feels like in your butt, in your back, in your head. As you come into your cat, pull the hands and feet away from each other. And as you come into the cow, you can draw them towards each other. 2 more. Excellent. So we're going to crawl ourselves back to the front of the mat. I'm actually going to go to the back so that I can do the same thing. And then coming into a plank pose, your knees can be on the floor. You're going to pull the hands back, reach the hips forward, and start to bend. Come into a push-up. Push the index finger into the mat as you come back up. Do that 2 more times. Exhale, elbows bend back behind you. Head and tailbone reaching away from each other. As we inhale, we press the floor away. 1 last time. And this time, as we come down, we'll keep going all the way. Inch the feet back a little bit in space. Take the arms wide, loop the shoulders, peel up. And exhale, roll back down, let the head touch the floor. As we come into this one, for me, that extra moment, that extra pause between moving again as the head comes down is just such a relief in that neck. So this time as we come down, let's slide the hands back. Press hands and knees or hands and toes into there. Now let's do knees. Inhale, lift up. And we'll slide ourselves back into child's pose. Take a breath in your child. And then as you exhale, push into the floor, lifting your hips up high. We'll draw the heels back, reaching the tops of the thighs away from the hands, back of the neck long. Breathe. Beautiful. Let's look forward. We'll take our right leg forward towards our right thumb. We can drop the back knee to the floor, and here we can just rock ourselves a little bit. No, other leg, isn't it? Must be. I'm backwards. So left leg forward. Beautiful. As we inhale, let's make our way up. And the right foot comes back behind, and here we are. So we should be on the second side if, you know, and your hands can be out here. If they're getting tired, you can rest them. That front shin pulls back as you drop the hips down, that inner thigh is active. And then this time as we lift up, you can spin that left foot, take the right arm up, left hand resting, or resting but not pushing.
That's why it's just easier to keep it here. So creating a little hollowness through the underarm so the pinky finger turns in from that right knee. Through the fingers, we lengthen on the inhale. As we exhale, we contract. And then we keep that going for a couple of breaths. Inhale, lengthening up. And exhale, contracting down. So I like to think of as I inhale, the whole right side stretches. And as I exhale, the left side contracts. One last breath here. Head back, shoulders, hips all on there, butt all on that magic wall behind you. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up. Reach. And then start to reach the left hand away from you as if someone's holding you back. It's going to slow down the action, make this pose easier. Once the hand comes, plant that right hand to the floor. And here we are in a little Vastasana pose. Don't let the head hang. Your forehead should be a little higher than your chin, and your right biceps should be reaching forward towards the front of the mat. I believe it's the back of the mat, sorry. So just feel the shoulder on the shoulder girdle. You can stay just like this. Or you can start to reach that top arm over your head. Stretch. And from here, if you want to keep going, keep reaching that hand until the left leg gets light. And then you can hold here for a couple of breaths. Reach that foot away. Right buttock tucks under. Head lifts a little higher. Breathe. Let's do 2 last breaths. And if you are in this pose on your next exhale, start to release the foot and the arm. We'll inhale together here in this pose, nice big stretch, and then we'll start to walk our hands off the mat and into this very strange looking tabletop position with the foot out. And here we'll do a little bit of cat-cow. Beautiful. So notice the difference in that when the leg is out, how it feels on that side. It's a nice little variation. I kind of like this. It's really deep into the butt. All right, so we're going to walk ourselves back to the front. Lift that back leg up, plant the hands, step back. You're in plank pose. I'm going to tap the knees down. I'm going to turn to face you as we do this next one. Draw the hips forward, and this time as we come down, we're going to come down nice and slowly. Lengthen from tailbone, knees out through the crown of the head. Bend the elbows back, come into a bit of a chaturanga feeling for a second, hold. And then lower all the way down to the mat. Let the head touch. Inch the hips back a little bit. We're going to take the hands and see if we can grab a hold of the palms. So instead of wrapping a thumb on top of the other, let them be beside each other. And use your thumbs or your hands to feel the tailbone reaching towards the heels. Notice how that presses the pelvis into the floor a little bit. Lift your shoulders up. Start to draw the hands towards the toes as you lift your head and shoulders up off the mat. Breathe. So you're pressing the pelvis down, not the belly. If it feels okay, you can lift the legs up. If it feels okay, you can bend the knees.
If it feels all right, you can grab hold of the ankles. All of that should be progression, and if it doesn't feel like, if you're working really hard, just do the one that feels like we're on our way down to the end. We're using this as a stretch for the belly. So just keeping the thighs on the floor, press the heels back. Belly still in, maybe the knees can lift up. One more breath here. And then wherever you are, we'll release the knees down, we'll release the feet down. We're going to slowly bring the hands forward and a little wide. And as we press the pelvis down, we'll start to roll the chest up. Let's open up those collarbones. Let's look over our right shoulder. And as we look over our right shoulder, feel the left shoulder drive over towards the left. Collarbones wide. Low back should be flat on the floor, and there should be no stretch in it whatsoever. It should all be a little higher. And if that's not the case, bend the elbows a little bit more. Come back through center. Over to the second side. Collarbone wide. Coming back through center. And we'll roll down twice. Exhale down, head touches. Inhale, roll back up. Exhale down. These classes are going way too fast lately. I have like at least another half an hour work to do, and I only have like, 12 minutes. All right, so we'll end quicker. We're gonna take the head back down. We'll stretch the arms forward. Stretch the legs back. See if you can rest on your forehead. And then stretch the right arm and left leg again, like in bird dog. And then release, stretch the left and right arm and leg away from each other, just getting a little long. And then back, and then let's roll ourselves onto our backs now. And another little stretch. Right side and left side. Okay, little cat, a little bridge here. We'll just do like 3 or 4 of these movements. So let's see if we can tickle our ankles here. You want the shins to be, the ankles and the knees lined up. You don't want the heels in so much that as you come up, you feel the stretch in the knees. So set yourself up so your shins are perpendicular to the floor. Pull the mat apart. And let's just start, press the tailbone down. And then press the tailbone up, pressing the low back down. Press the tailbone down. And then the low back. And let's add to that now. Press the tailbone down, release the edge of the mat, but keep those shoulders under. And as we inhale and roll the tailbone up, let's take the arms with us. And just coming so that the backs of the hands, the wrists, the elbows touch the floor, even if the elbows are bent. And then exhale, roll back down. 1 vertebrae at a time, feel that movement. Should feel nice. Inhale, roll up. And exhale, roll down. 3 more. So this music, feel like you're like cascading down with it. Last one. Beautiful.
And as the low back flat, actually, let's lift our hips up, draw them over to the right a little bit. We're gonna take our right leg to our chest and slide the left leg straight. Hold on to the right leg with the left hand and take the right hand out to the side. And from the left big toe mound pressing away, lengthen out to the crown of the head, and use the right knee as a way to find a spiral through the body, not a crank. I hope that makes sense. So think of yourself like a barber pole. Keeping that right shoulder imprinted to the mat. Feel the breath moving through from the big toe all the way up to the crown of the head, and see if you can feel that spiral as you breathe. Beautiful. We're going to draw the leg back. We're going to bend our left knee. We're just going to place the right foot on top. Just give yourself a nice little press away for a second, and then just draw the knee in for 3 breaths. So low back presses to the floor. Take that left leg up. Just a nice little stretch through the outer right hip. Keep the right foot active. Beautiful. We'll release the left leg to the floor, and then we'll release the right leg to the floor. Press the feet into the floor, draw your hips through center, about an inch or two over towards the left. We'll slide the right leg straight as we take the left leg up. With that left shoulder imprinted to the floor, lengthen through the big toe mound of the right foot, and as you bring that left leg over, feel yourself spiral. And breathe yourself into this spiral. 3 more breaths. Last breath here. We inhale, we're going to come back up. Right foot is going to bend, left leg is going to come on top. Just press both heels, the hips away. You can do a little pelvic tilting, and then just keep that low back flat to the floor as you draw the legs up into a little thread the needle for a breath or 2. It's really 3. And line. Keep the left foot active so that the sensation you're getting is not in the knee, it's moving down to the hip crease, outer hip. Beautiful. And then we'll release that leg. Release the left leg too. Come back through center. And then one last big stretch before you make your way into your Shavasana, where you can put on your extra layers. Get yourself comfortable and warm. Just let the body settle. Again, bring your awareness to areas of the body and help them soften. So you can bring your awareness to the heaviness of the hips and feel them drop into the floor. Feel the heaviness of the shoulders drop into the mat, the arms. And release all the muscles in your face.
Just notice your body and how relaxed it is. We had a nice, long, long, luxurious practice today. So delight in that for a moment. This is from a poem from Albert Camus. He said, "In the midst of hate, I found there was within me an invincible love. In the midst of tears, I found there was within me an invincible smile. In the midst of chaos, I found there was within me an invincible calm. I realized through it all that in the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. And that makes me happy, for it says that no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me there is something stronger, something better, pushing right back." So you can deepen your breath. And as the energy starts to move through you and down through your arms and your legs, encourage that by physically moving back, wiggling those fingers, wiggling those toes, and feeling the sensation of both of those actions moving together, the one from the breath, the one from your physical movement, and notice how sublime that can feel. And move that up through your arms and through your legs, and notice that with each movement, each place that we move to, the feeling can again delight you. And delight yourself as much as you want until you've stretched your body in every way that feels good. And then take a little bit of time on your side. So here, without any work, we shift and just feel the benefits of the practice. Here we just notice what being feels like. And it feels darn good. Start to make your way up to seated. You can sit up nice and tall. I invite you to join me with the Om at the end if you wanted to unmute. We'll bring our hands to our heart. And we take a moment here to shift into our gratitude state. So again, it's taking a moment to notice how you feel and want to share it. We'll take a nice big inhale here. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale to Om. Notice how that reverberation settles you down a little bit more into the earth, lifting you up a little higher towards the sky. A reminder that our thoughts should always be filtered through our hearts. We bring our hand to our head, representing our thoughts, and bring them right back down to our hearts where they belong. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.